Having multiple devoted boyfriends is wonderful, says polyandrous woman. Anybody ever heard of this? This is kind of a new movement. You got polyamory, which is the act of engaging with multiple sex partners, but supposedly being in a committed relationship with one of them, or being in a committed relationship with multiple partners, which I really don't understand. This is, of course, how the left changes things, right? Change the definitions. Everything's open to interpretation. Words have no meaning. There's only your truth. You can label something whatever you want to label it and find some way to justify that action. Yeah. So many women may casually date multiple guys. Yeah, that's part of the problem with today's world, okay? Many women can and do. No accountability, no responsibility. Don't have to worry about getting knocked up because you can just get an abortion, eh? Don't need to find a good guy. Don't need to get married and settle down. Nah. Can have my fun. I don't understand. Any of you out there ever played with kids? I like kids. Kids are fun. And I enjoy kids. I haven't played with them much. Don't have much time to be around them. I'm not around them much. But, you see other people's kids. They're cute. They're funny. They're interesting because, everything's new to them. I would think that having your own kids and playing with those kids and raising those kids, that would be the most fun thing in the world. It's almost as if women think they're somehow missing out on something, or they've missed out on something in their past, or all women have missed out on something in their past. So now these modern day women, they in some way think they owe it to the women of the past to live their life as much as possible and do all the things that those women of the past weren't able to do or willing to do, because there would have been a huge stigma attached. So they live their lives very promiscuously and then die alone and unhappy, wondering what the fuck they did wrong. This is what you did wrong, bitches. But some modern day women are practicing polyandry. Okay, so we got a whole new word here. So I thought it was polyamory. Okay, this is something different. All right, right. Having multiple husbands. Isn't that illegal? At least in the West. Excuse me. I thought that was bigamy. Having multiple husbands, or in a contemporary repurposed definition, several serious or lifelong partners. Okay, this is the thing. All right? There's only so many hours in a day, and you as a person only have so much time and effort you can devote to a number of different tasks. If you do this, you can't do that. If you do that, you can't do this. How exactly can you have multiple serious partners? Doesn't it take all your time and energy and effort and focus to make one relationship work? I don't understand that. How can you have multiple serious relationships? Well, of course you can't. You can't. That's just a myth. This is bullshit. This is total bullshit. Just don't be in a serious relationship, right? This isn't serious. Multiple lifelong partners, and of course have no kids. Just, exist to bang them all, right? Till you're old and these men toss you aside for somebody better because none of them are married to you, or maybe one of them is. One of them is some pathetic loser beta dude who actually married you and is perfectly okay to cuck you out. Yeah, this is so sad. This is so sad. I wonder if you ladies know what you're doing to yourselves. You're not enjoying life. You think you are, but you're just fulfilling all these feminist tropes that have been thrown at you, and you think you're accomplishing something. You're not. You're not fulfilling a dream. You're not fulfilling Martin Luther's dream or whatever contemporary feminist you're trying to live up to their standards. It's ridiculous. So polyandry, the female-focused version of polygamy, is technically illegal in the United States. Technically. Only technically. Thus, those who practice it do so without literally getting married. I would say polyandry. Believe me, if they could marry you, they would. Can you imagine one woman being married to three guys and she stiffs them all for child support and half their shit? And if they could, they would, believe me. I would say polyandry is when a woman has many male partners. Dr. Denise Rain, doctor, says she's a shrink. So, of course, a shrink is pushing this stuff. I've told you before. Psychology is a pseudoscience, okay? It's nothing more than a way to deconstruct Western society by redefining all the behavior that is normal and okay as abnormal, or just, not the only normal, right? Yes, homosexuality is normal. Polyandry is normal. These are not alternative lifestyles. These are as valid and normal and okay as the cisgendered scum who've been telling everybody they're the normal for so long. Yeah, it's bullshit. Psychology's bullshit, okay? It's not a real thing. It's not a science, all right? It's not a fucking science. It's just a way for some leftist, somebody who's been indoctrinated into leftist groupthink ideology, to get into a position to then tell you how to live your life, what is normal, how to deal with your issues. And invariably, the way that they tell you to deal with your issues, walk you through how you're going to deal with those issues, is somehow related to making you more feminine as a man. Yeah. As a Wayman, just a lot of talking. They love talking. All right, so crazy. Polyandry. So essentially what they're saying here is you want quantity over quality, or they push this bullshit that you can have both. Right? That you can have both quality and quantity. What a bunch of crap. Total crap. You cannot have both quality and quantity, okay? Not really. Not really. You can have one or you can have the other. At least not when it comes to relationships, okay? Maybe you can have quantity and quality, in regards to other things. If you're a rich motherfucker and you buy 10 Lamborghinis, okay. You've got quantity and quality. It depends on the situation, right? Depends on what you're talking about. Dr. Denise Rain, a San Francisco-based psychologist who specializes in sex and intimacy. All modern-day psychology all psychology is in general, is a way of reprogramming people to leftist groupthink ideological frameworks of approaching the world, and not how you think about it, because leftists don't think. That's why they have their ideology to do their thinking for them. But that doesn't mean a woman can't dream of putting a ring on those many male partners. Could you imagine having multiple wives? Oh my God. Drive me nuts. I can barely deal with one woman griping and moaning, and I don't right now. I'm single. I'm a bachelor, baby. But I don't think I would, at my age, really be able to tolerate just one of them. Constantly yammering and nagging in my ear. Get this, get that, do this, do that. Bitch, I don't work for you. Just gets tiresome. And then, of course, they always want to clean. It's so funny. They never do any fucking cleaning until you are doing something you enjoy. And then all of a sudden, I've become a modern day, a classic traditional woman, not modern day, because modern day women don't actually do anything in the house as far as housework, because it's somehow demeaning to them. But it's okay for you to do it. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to pass. Hey, listen to this. Having multiple husbands was something I had thought about since early adolescence. Oh, boy. Uber feminist, single mommy who was probably stooping lots and lots of fucking guys. Great role model there, mama. I even asked my mother about it. And she laughed and said it would be way too much work. This is probably the same mom that was banging multiple guys that gave her the idea in the first place. So a 44-year-old woman from Boulder, Colorado, who goes by Gislaic, tells broadly. What the fuck kind of name is Gislaic? Very active in her local kink community. So you've replaced a meaningful life, a stable life. You've replaced a life that has meaning, that has real joy and happiness, with hedonism. Local kink community is a mistress. This is so weird. It's almost like these people are a lot like vegans. You know how vegans, they focus all their time and effort and energy and even their identity on what they eat and how they eat, and they make it into a fucking cause. Same with these people who follow these kinks. It's almost like their whole life is devoted to something that is just one aspect of life. It's not the totality of life itself. So instead of having a full, robust, meaningful life, where all aspects of your life are full and involve meaning and bring happiness to you, and instead you get this, a life focused on local kink bondage community and polyandry. Just like is currently seeking 3 husbands in a scenario she likens to big love. She's probably fat, hence the word big. Only with a higher level of control and authority on my part and way better sex. God. So let me get this straight. You're opting out of having kids. You're opting out of having a partner who has virtue and values that match yours, and your coupling and living together and being a couple and having kids together would bring joy and happiness and meaning to your life, even once you're done with that meaningless paper shuffling that you do as a wayman, right? Because you think that somehow is what you should be doing as a good feminist. All right. And you get to have your grandkids, and maybe if you live long enough, even great-grandkids, and you get to watch them and take them out and, sneak them $5 because, Mom doesn't want them to be given money. Of course, these days, most parents are so indulgent, they don't give a fuck. But I remember my grandparents on my mother's side, every weekend, and I don't know why this stopped, but there was a period there where every weekend they would take me out, and we'd go to I think it was Wendy's. And, Wendy's used to have this soft ice cream thing, soft ice cream / shake that they served, and it was fucking delicious. And they buy me this great meal, get me a fucking sundae, whatever the fuck it was, and then slip me $5 or something. And I wasn't supposed to tell my mother, but my mother would figure it out anyway. You don't get to have that. You don't get to have any of that. You won't have grandkids. You won't have kids. You'll just have some kink bondage and cat o' nine tails. What an empty life. What an empty fucking life. Some women relish the chance to celebrate polyandry. Other women in polyamorous communities view having multiple male partners as simply an inherent facet of the general polygamous, polyamorous lifestyle. I don't know. Women don't want submissive guys, okay? I mean, they do and they don't. They think they do, but then they get them, and then they're not content because they really, deep down, want a real man, not a pussy. And only a pussy would be okay with this. So polyandry is polygamy for women. In either case, marriage is the key component that differs it from polyamory. It's not something that is, you can't get married to multiple partners, so it's just symbolic. It's not like there's a real commitment there, because people recognize you can't commit in a relationship to multiple partners. That's the whole point of commitment. It's all your time, all your effort, all of your energy in regards to a relationship focused on one person. But, let's just change the definition of commitment. Yeah. Of course, right. Because we can do that now. We can change the meanings of words. Because we don't like the original meaning. It's too constricting, too confining. So it's not something that's widely discussed. Yeah. Shouldn't, oh God. Oh boy, we're becoming Babel, right? Tower Babel, Babylon. We're becoming. So next we have someone named Blue. I guess that's a nickname. Has multiple male partners herself, and says more men offer more emotional support. Because it's all about you, right? Are you enough for him? I don't think so. Not to mention the sexual benefits, right? Because that's all we should really care about, right? Empty, meaningless, vapid sex with some whore. My partners have different strengths, styles, points of view, all coming together to be an amazing support network for me, because I'm the most important thing in the universe, and I have no virtue. I'm just a cum dumpster. It also provides me different sexual experiences, somewhat eliminating monotony that inevitably happens in all long-term relationships. I got to be honest here. I never had this experience. I mean, when I was in a long-term relationship, I never wanted another woman. I just didn't. I mean, I've got one. What do I need others for? This emptiness, this belief that there's somehow something that can feed you in terms of quality by variety. I've never had that. I mean, I pick a partner for a certain reason. That person has certain values, virtues that match me. The sex is always just fine. I don't need anything else. But I guess if you have no virtue and no values, you're going to pick partners who have no virtue and value, either because nobody with virtue would want to be with somebody virtueless. And if somebody had low self-esteem and they did get with somebody who had no virtue, guess what? You wouldn't get anything out of the sex except the sex, because there's no alignment there along virtues. Virtue doesn't feed virtue. You are only dealing with the sexual aspects. So somebody who is empty and vapid, lives a meaningless life, is only going to get the physical out of it. This is so bizarre. So fucking bizarre. This is a long article, too. Fuck me. I don't want to read all this. Jesus Christ. It's just some broads trying to convince themselves that this alternative lifestyle is somehow normal, is somehow okay, and it's going to make them just as happy as a man and a woman deciding to commit to each other. You can't fucking commit to 12 people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to destroy your little fucking illusion, all right, and burst your bubble. So annoying. So fucking annoying. All right, I'll move on. This is really, this is part of the problem, okay, with the West. You've got people really embracing these deviant lifestyles that if you do have kids within such a lifestyle, you're just going to create somebody who themselves is unable to commit and form a stable pair bond with a partner that is going to produce strong, stable, independent kids who can think for themselves, which is exactly what the system doesn't want. So let's create people with no foundation. Thereby, they will not build a strong sense of identity, and we can grab onto them early and control them for their entire life. So freaking sad. Ladies, you are not embarking on a fulfilling, happy, wonderful fucking life that is going to make your day, make your life happy and wonderful. 4 husbands. I have 4 husbands. I'm so happy. Yeah, you think you are. You're not. You've never experienced real, true happiness, so you don't have a clue. And whatever you are experiencing that you think is happiness, it ain't. It's just physical contentment, and that does not last. Notice that one woman, 44. She's looking for an arrangement, a new arrangement, because she had an old one that didn't work out. Probably constantly cycling through men who eventually get tired of her. She's nothing but an empty vortex, void, abyss that they're constantly dumping both emotional and physical resources into, and it's a never-ending, bottomless fucking pit. And women like this are just going to cycle through guys throughout their entire life and never have any real meaning. So sad. Do not fall for such a lifestyle. Certainly don't, men out there, have fucking 3 or 4 wives. Oh my God. Talk about a living hell.